Months of rumour and speculation all come to an end today as we return to racing for the opening event of what promises to be an enthralling season. Welcome along then to round one of this year's Formula One World Championship. Formula One returns to the desert today on this exceptional 3.36 mile circuit. 15 corners provide plenty of overtaking opportunities. It could be a strategic race, this one, with Sakir notorious for eating up the rear tyres. Watch out for drivers managing their rubber at some point during the Grand Prix. A new season then, a clean slate where anything could happen. Anthony Davidson is with me today as we get another year of Formula One underway.
We're into those tense few minutes before the first race then. Everyone's a little bit nervous about reliability. They haven't been running in the hot, turbulent wake of other cars in practice, and they've not been pushing at 100% for long durations. Let's hope no one has to deal with any nasty surprises.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he starts from pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Leclerc, Carlos Sainz and Norris, Ricciardo, Gasly, Vettel, the owner driver, Tsunoda, Stroll, Fernando Alonso and Hamilton, Ocon, Raikkonen, Robert Schwartzman and Antonio Giovinazzi, Russell, Latifi, Mick Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track and get this Grand Prix underway.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Well, here we are then at Bahrain, at the Bahrain International Circuit, in the desert, under those beautiful floodlights at night, for the Bahrain Grand Prix, the first race of this career mode series in my team. And well, we are about to get into the race, but of course if you haven't watched yesterday's video, it was the qualifying video, you might want to go and watch that now. Of course we managed to qualify P11, but as you'll see on the grid, we've been promoted to P10. So we're going to have a look at what happened in Q3 and the result of that. So as you can see, Verstappen took pole with Bottas second and Perez third. Then Charles Leclerc fourth with his teammate for Ferrari fifth. So Ferrari certainly have the upper hand against McLaren, while Red Bull have the upper hand against Mercedes, as Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo take 6th and 7th for McLaren. Pierre Gasly then 8th and Vettel 9th, and we move up to 10th. Now that is because Lewis Hamilton has had a penalty, I do believe, and I think his penalty will probably have been a 10 place or 2 5 places, and he's dropped, I think, from 4th all the way down the order, possibly different penalty, but he's probably collected that in Q3. But really unusual to see drivers collecting penalties in qualifying. But anyway, Lewis Hamilton dropping down the order. He of course starts on the mediums. So if you look at the top 9, all of them start on the softs. That's because they got through Q2 on the softs. Lewis Hamilton starts on the mediums. He got through Q2 on the mediums. Then everyone else who had a free tyre choice has gone for the mediums, apart from Antonio Giovinazzi, who's gone for the softs. That's a bit of a risk, because the soft strategy, you've got to then do a 2-stopper, takes 6 more seconds. And yes, there's got a little bit of better chance for him, because he'll have clean air once he's pitted, to be able to put in the laps he needs to do. But he's probably not going to finish 18th unless there's DNFs. You know, he's definitely not really going to be going that far forward on that strategy. So that is the grid. Sounds like we had an exciting Q3, and hopefully we can go forward off the start and maybe get past Vettel or Gasly. It'd be interesting to see though how those two handle with the softs, because they are going to be really quick in the first 4 laps. So then there's going to be that massive drop off, and our mediums are going to be significantly quicker. But there we have the grid for the race. So before we begin, guys, I would just want to say something. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. It means a lot. Without people hitting the like button and the subscribe button, you can't make the videos. So please, guys, don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button. Subscribing's free, and you only have to do it once. So let's have a look at our race strategies then. So then, of course, the two strategies are pretty much of a no-brainer here. Going to go for the two-stopper. Around here, 6 seconds slower. You're going to go for the one-stopper. It's much quicker. Definitely worth it. You want to go for that strategy. 13 laps, 16 laps, not too complicated. Start on the mediums, then go to the hards, because the two-stopper's just too slow. You know, you're going to be 6 seconds slower. You get stuck in traffic, so the one-stopper's definitely the best choice. We're going to go with that. We might have to pit a lap early off the mediums, because they really do have a large drop-off. We'll just see how they are on lap 12. Well then, it's time to get into the race because we've looked at the strategy. We've seen the grid order. Let's get into the first race of the season at the Bahrain International Circuit. Round 1. Lights out. Now, and away we go. And we're struggling a lot off the start. A little too trigger happy on the throttle. Down into turn 1, keep it clean. And we don't want to collide with Leclerc there, but we got a little tap on his side pod. But we're up, I think, into 8th, yes. Can we just seal that? And it's absolute parking over here. It's just parking the cars all over the place. Norris has dropped back. We got Vettel trying to come alongside us down this straight. Is he going to be able to get the move on us? Can we get the better acceleration out as Carlos Sainz dispatches his teammate up into 6th? And we're struggling a bit, forced to go a bit wide through there. And we're going to go side by side along here. And he backs off a little bit, and now he's under threat from Tsunoda. As behind, you can see that Norris is just getting swamped. He needs to get a move on. He's on those softs. You know, he's not going to have the pace towards the end of the stint, and he's just going to drop away from the Ferraris as we go very wide there. Here comes Yuki Tsunoda on the same tyres as us. Ours aren't warm. His looking pretty good. As he go wheel to wheel, they bang. We've got the inside line for this corner. Exactly what you want for that one. And we get the move sealed. We've licked the stamp, we've sent it. And now we can try and not lose too much time from oversteer as we do that. Well then, a replay of the start here. Ourselves back in 10th place. You can see there it was a decent start from Sergio Perez. You can see the McLaren of Norris got away pretty well down that left-hand side when you're heading down the straight. We go right down the inside line, and we just get in a bit of a tangle all over the place there. Great start from us, and then you can see that Vettel nearly got us. We're forced to back out there with Sainz and Leclerc boxing us in. We then head down this straight, being chased down by our teammate who's behind us, and we just about managed to stay ahead there. I mean, not our teammate, that's the Ferrari. The Ferrari is get ahead of us, and then we're battling with Sebastian Vettel side by side through there. I think we locked up a bit, got a little bit touchy around this section, but we managed to stay ahead. So that's the replay of the start. Well, we've seen the start, but we're also going to look at it again from the view of Lewis Hamilton. He's all the way back down in 14th. He got a pretty poor start, really, and he's really getting just dropping down the field very quickly. Esteban Ocon gets through. He tries to have a look down the inside line. There's not space, and it's sort of just a massive parking lot here. And you can see he gets side by side with Kimi Raikkonen and Antonio Giovinazzi. They squeeze their way through. And Lewis Hamilton, there you go, off the start, down into 18th. Not much has happened so far since the start. We're just staying comfortably in 8th here. Not much to document on, but the leaders are definitely getting away. You can see that Leclerc and Sainz are extending their lead on ourselves. But of course,
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you are within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
They have a massive advantage now because of their softs. That will not last until later. DRS enabled. We've now got to defend a bit harder from Yuki Tsunoda, but we're starting to get a bit further away from him as the field breaks up. And you can see behind Hamilton, not where he wants to be. A long way back. He's had a bad start. He could have got forward and started to make overtakes, but he seems to have gone backwards, and that's crucial for Mercedes in the constructors, because when you've only got 10 races in a season, you know, not taking points from both drivers in one race, you know, in such a close Constructors' Championship, it's going to be costly as we go very wide down there. And here we go. Oh dear, what a mistake. Yuki Tsunoda's going to try and come back at us. He's got DRS. He's going to have a look down the inside line.
Okay, clear.
Are using this, and there's an Alfa Romeo off. We'll have to see what that's for. Which Alfa Romeo is that? I think it's Antonio Giovinazzi. There's not going to be a safety car for it as we go side by side with Yuki Tsunoda through there. A little messy. A poor middle sector there, and we've made a massive mistake, and it's costly. Just got to continue on now and try to make up the gap to the Ferraris. Well, it seems that that incident was not Antonio Giovinazzi, it was Kimi Räikkönen. He's gone round the outside into here on the exit of turn 10, and he's just sort of gone too close to the wall and pretty much nearly parked it there. That's where he's dropped down, and he's now at the back of the field. Well, here is Mick Schumacher, lap 4 in this lovely train. You've got George Russell in front, Latifi behind him, and he's Mick Schumacher's teammates behind there. Nikita Mazepin, and yeah, oh dear, oh yeah, Mick Schumacher, there we go. What a shame, what a shame. I think that's a mechanical failure. He's going slowly here. Mechanical failure, parked it at the side of the road. What a shame for Mick Schumacher, that's his Grand Prix over. Well, here we are then on lap number 5. This is ourselves defending from Lando Norris. You've seen quite a lot of the other cars. But anyway, a bit of action here with ourselves. We're dropping further back from Leclerc. And we've managed to defend Norris down that straight. He's going to come back at us with DRS. We've got Vettel and Tsunoda ready to bite if either of us collide. And there we go. Norris has looked down the inside line, but can't get the move there. And we continue down here. Lovely through here. Taking a lot of curb. Through there and oh, my days, oh my days. There we go. Oh, yeah, that's the replay. Every time I see that replay, it hurts to watch it. But look at that, yeah. We've just absolutely lost it there. We managed to get going again somehow. But I just lost it on the curb. Spun round and we've hit Lando Norris. Oh, that is a pretty bad incident. Let's see it from another angle. Now then, the view of this incident from Lando Norris. And yeah, I've just gone onto the curb and spun around, hit him. He's just been sent off down here. He's lucky not to get front wing damage. And you can see how somehow I managed to get back going. I can't quite believe it, but Lando Norris rejoins down in 16th. A bit of a disaster for him. Quite a big mistake from me. Good job though that Lando's still going in the Grand Prix. Because that could have been a fatal incident. Somehow he hasn't taken any front wing damage. And now finally we've got to see this from one more angle. This was my view, of course. They didn't actually film me live doing it on this thing. Didn't manage to get that, but you can see, yeah, I just lost it on there. Spun her around, and oh my days, this was the incident here. And you can see Sebastian Vettel just comes along and almost hits us. Well, he does hit us. Lucky not to get front wing damage himself. And we somehow are still in 8th, and there isn't a safety car as he then came and tried to have a go at us. And get past us, and then gets robbed by Yuki Tsunoda and drops down to 10th. Oh, well, I still can't believe that we're still in it. It was my fault, but it was definitely my fault. Just lost it on a curb, but we're still going. Somehow. Still going. And Vettel...
The car in front is 11.2 seconds.
Is in front of Tsunoda, yeah. We have lost out. And what's happened? What's happened?
Clear.
What? Yuki Tsunoda's out of the session. Safety car is out.
Okay,
on lap
watch your pace.
6.
We've been informed that the safety car is out. There appears to have been an issue with multiple stopped vehicles on the track.
Tsunoda's out of the session. What's happened there? We'll have to look at a replay. Here's the Yuki Tsunoda incident. Then he's coming down the straight, chasing Sebastian Vettel. Vettel moves across to stop the slipstream, and he's tried to follow it. And that is, a big impact into the pit wall. And Yuki Tsunoda at the session. Safety car is out. They're back to us, but what a horrible incident for Yuki Tsunoda. Now this is what Yuki Tsunoda saw the incident. You just saw how he's tried to follow the slipstream, but I think he's just lost it. Or was it a puncture? I'm not entirely sure, but he's gone off into the wall. Doesn't hit anyone else. And there you go, that's another view of that incident. Well, now there's a safety car. We've got the choice of being able to pit if we want to. Question is, do we pit? So we've lost 2 cars out the session. Lando Norris is rocketing down the order. He is with Lewis Hamilton back there, who's having an absolute disaster. And we now can change the strategy. We can pit this lap if we want to. All the front runners are going to pit. We could still pit if we wanted to.
Drop your speed, our delta is too low and we risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
So I don't know whether we'll pit or not here, but we could come in. And that's what we're going to do. We're coming in onto softs. Here we go then, onto the softs. Wait, actually I'm switching to hards. Let's go hards and then onto softs at the end of the race. Let's go aggressive towards the end of the race. We're in. The hards are on. We're out. This could be an out-of-the-box strategy. It might not work, but it could. It could pay off here.
1 stop to go. 1 stop left in this strategy.
Got to catch the safety car queue. We're down in 17th. But that is a very interesting decision from me. I'm onto the hards. Is it going to work? I have no idea, but those mediums were already pretty worn, so I was like, might as well pit onto the hards, especially now we've got a safety car. I don't think they'll go to the end, but then there's the opportunity to put softs on if we want to, or really try and save tyres and somehow manage to make it to the end on these hards. Whatever's going to happen, it could actually be a good decision here. We've got to catch up to Leclerc and then wait for the safety car to finish.
Remember that we need to stay within 10 car lengths of the next car.
Here we are then, the safety car restart on lap number 9. Vettel's chasing us into the first corner. We go, an absolute dive bomb into it. All the cars are absolutely stacked up. We go down the inside, nearly lose the car up into 14th. Here comes Nikita Mazepin. Go over the curb. And we're up into 14th, but Mazepin's having another look at us. That was crucial there for us. We've got past Leclerc as we run very wide. All over the place here. Mazepin's coming back at us.
Okay, gap ahead is
and he's clipped our rear. Mazepin's round. That's probably a little bit of a racing incident there. There's no space. He has been spun round and we are struggling all over the place, squirming about. Let's look at a replay of that in a second. Well, the Mazepin incident here, we were heading very wide on the exit of turn 4. Then we're heading into turn 5. Do we leave enough space? I'm not entirely sure there, and he's been spun round. Possibly a 50-50 incident. And then we're travelling down here. Down into turn 9. We've got Raikkonen behind us, a lovely long train. He looks for it, goes down the inside, gets the move done. We run wide. Becomes very costly because then when we rejoin, we're pretty close to Leclerc, pretty close to Ricciardo. Arms are out. Can we stay ahead of them? Yes, we can. Just about there. Get ahead of Leclerc and Ricciardo, both of them. Now we've got to try and chase down Kimi Raikkonen, who's got ahead of us. He shouldn't be too hard to get, though. He's on very worn mediums in front of us. And then, of course, catch up to Carlos Sainz. To my camera we go now, chasing down Raikkonen. We need to get to Raikkonen to get across to Latifi. And we have a look down the inside line. We send it. We get the move done. Nicely done. And now we've got to catch up to the Williams and Carlos Sainz as Raikkonen comes charging through.
We're trailing
with Leclerc
by 7.2 seconds.
Well, we're trying to catch Latifi ahead. We are doing. But Norris is having another look at us. Here we go. He's going to go for the move there. Is he going to get it? No, he swipes right back across. Can't get the move done. And we continue on here. And you can see our teammate is way up the order. I think he's defending from Hamilton. And he's in... Well, he's in, I think, maybe 6th place there. So he's doing really well, but he's, of course, yet to pit. We'll start to see pit stops next lap, lap after, and then the lap after that, I would expect. Possibly even lap 14 with this safety car, meaning not getting that much wear on their mediums.
Okay, the stewards have now enabled...
Well, we've caught up to Latifi. We're still being chased down by Lando Norris, but Latifi's in front. We have a look into this right-hander. get the move done on the Williams. Next up is George Russell. He's in the other Williams, and we've got a lovely chunk of DRS to try and catch him down. We'll need that DRS to defend from Norris potentially,
by a second per lap.
as he's having a look at us into turn 1 ourselves. And we go down the inside of Russell, tap wheels, but we've got the move done somehow. Look at that, what a dive bomb. We get DRS now though. He's got that run on us nearly, but he can't get it. But here comes Lando Norris, having a look down the inside of everyone literally, but he gets past the Williams and he is coming with us pretty firmly after that early incident. Through here, I'm careful not to put my foot down on that curb this time and not turned up hurting Lando Norris's race anymore. Now we've got to try and catch up to the Ferrari of Sainz and our teammate. Now then, we're in 11th. We're now really closing up to Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari. He's on his mediums. Then we've got Robert Schwartzman in front, our teammate. He's doing a fantastic job holding Sainz up, because that's going to allow us to get past a faster car effectively and then charge on if he can just keep defending, because Schwartzman's going to probably be coming in this lap, but he's holding him up and he's going to allow us to be able to get close enough to Sainz to get DRS. Norris still chasing. Latifi and Russell for Williams are way behind. They've just dropped back to around the Alfa Romeos, but Leclerc is still stuck back there, and Sainz is going to go for the overtake on our teammate, as Lando Norris is going to go side by side with us down the straight. It could be very close into turn 1, and it is. We lock up into it, but we go a bit wide. Can we get the move on Sainz here? No, we can't, but we get the DRS. And Robert Schwartzman getting away from Carlos Sainz here. Good for our teammate. Find a bit of clean air before his pit stop. Maybe get ahead of Ocon if you can put in a really decent lap here, but Sainz there is doing alright to try and keep us at bay. Maybe a little bit of an attempt to sort of break in front of us, but we're going to continue through here. Lap 14. We're in 9th, of course. We're probably going to have to pit again. You can see how strung out the field is, but it's absolute carnage at the moment. We've still got some cars misplaced, a few, like my teammate pretty much misplaced there. He wouldn't usually be there, and Carlos Sainz is going to close back in on Schwartzman. He's got no DRS, so he's really struggling to defend from Sainz at the moment. But you can see that there's a lot of tyre wear already. And Lando Norris has gone down the inside. We gave him plenty of space and he's round again. What is happening? We've given him plenty of space. He's clipped our rear. Lando Norris is round again. Clear. I don't know what to say. It wasn't even really... I gave him so much space there. And he's round again. Can't quite believe it. Robert Schwartzman's in. We're going to filter out into a pretty tasty 7th place here, but I can't quite believe that.
Robert is coming in for...
Well, here we are on lap number 18. Not much has really...
Over the radio. Say again.
Not much has really happened recently in the last few laps, but of course, some cars pitting have led us to jump up into a very tasty 4th position here. Hamilton on that one stopper, moving up the order up into 6th. Leclerc behind in 5th, as we get a lot of oversteer at the corner. That's very costly. You can see that Bottas, Perez gone off in the distance, and then of course the leader Max Verstappen, who is still defending from Bottas, and they are coming into the pits here. Perez stays out. We're pretty much going to have to pit whether we want to or not here, because these tyres are pretty dead. Whether we go for about lap 21, possibly slap on mediums, or we go for lap 23 and slap on some softs, I don't know yet. Well, it depends how these hards are feeling in a lap or two, but this is going to probably not even get us past them, I don't think, here, because these two are already out the pits.
Be on the softs.
Wow, by golly, are they quick at the moment. They have gone through the turn 1, turn 2, turn 3 section, and now they're just going to chase down Perez, who's still got to pit again. And behind us, of course, Hamilton, and then Ricciardo, as I think, yep, Leclerc has pitted. So Ricciardo on a fresh set of mediums. He was doing really well, really high up. The question is for us, when are we going to pit? We could possibly stay out, but
is 7.2 seconds.
if you logically think about it, We're now halfway through the stint, and I'm going to be above 80% tyre wear on the fronts. I don't want to puncture, so it's not really worth the risk staying out, potentially getting a puncture and being an absolute sitting duck. And if someone gets past us, we're not going to be able to get back past them. Well, I've decided we're going to come in this lap onto a set of mediums. I don't want to go on the softs. They're going to degrade way too quickly. We're onto a set of mediums. Sometimes we can... Oh, man, I've just set it onto inters there, I do believe. But yeah, we're going to come in onto a set of those mediums because we are dropping further down. As you can see, you know, these tyres aren't great. We've really munched them up. Of course, very aggressive when we were trying to get those overtakes. And here we go. We're going to come into the pits this lap and hopefully we'll filter out just around the 10th place mark. It said predicted was going to be down, I think, back in about 12th place, probably around about where our teammate is. I think Gaz is going to finish ahead of us. We could finish ahead of Sainz if we get this pit stop done quickly. Get out there, Sainz, there's Stroll, Alonso leading this long train with Vettel in. You've got Leclerc at the end of that. We've got the tyre advantage here.
After these tyres now,
and they're coming along, And that's Leclerc. So there we go, we filtered out in 11th place. Our teammate Schwartzman back there, now I think in 14th. So he's dropping back, Ocon's got the overtake. And now it's all about pushing for these remaining laps here of the race. We're on lap 22 and there's a lot of overtaking to be done, especially with Alonso and Vettel in front. Alonso is on the old hards. Hopefully we can get into this battle. I think we had a lot of collision with Vettel earlier on. He didn't take front wing damage. I think that was when I ended up going all over the place on the curb. I accidentally hit Lando Norris. And a massive thanks to Lando Norris in this one, because if it wasn't for Lando, we probably would have absolutely had no race at all. I mean, the second incident when he hit us, that was a bit more his fault. We got Leclerc behind us. He's in 12th. Just got to push. The target is to get back ahead of Stroll, I do believe. I don't think we can get ahead of Sainz. I think he's got more pace, way more pace. He's probably got more pace even with a tyre disadvantage compared to us here. But Vettel can't get past Alonso. I think Vettel's quicker here. He probably will be. He's on fresher tyres and now we've got to push down this straight. Hopefully get past him. Feel a bit sorry for Nikita Mazepin at the moment. He's a bit lonely, the Haas driver, around the back. He hasn't got his teammate, because often you do see the two Haas's can be pretty close together. Nice to see. They generally don't get much of a battle. It's nice to see that. And here comes Charles Leclerc from behind. Then we've got Sebastian Vettel. It's going to be 3 wide into turn 1. Then there's Alonso. I'm just trying to shove Vettel a little bit to go for it. And we go for it. We go for the move on Vettel, on Alonso, and we're up into 9th. Now we want to chase down Stroll to take 8th. Maybe we'll get signs we're on fresher tyres.
Seconds. We're leading our teammate by 3.8 seconds.
Going really nicely on this new set of mediums here. Leclerc's got through past Alonso behind, but we're chasing down Stroll. I've got tunnel vision here, a little messy through turn 1. We were fastest in the final sector last lap. Green in 1 and 2. We're doing well here. We just got to keep this push on. The last few laps we've been putting in some decent times, but Leclerc has caught up to us as we're pushing to get to Stroll for 8th. Leclerc's really having a go at trying to get us. We try not to take him out. I've probably had enough incidents with other cars already in this race. I don't need any more. Now we're just trying to push to get closer to Stroll. I think we're going to get him by the end of the race, but after this lap, there's only the end of this. There's 3 laps to go, so we've really got to get a move on and catching Lance Stroll. When we get to him, he won't be that hard to overtake, but we don't need oversteer like that out of the final corner. It's not going to help us. I don't know if we're going to have enough time here. We need another lap after this and then another one. I don't know if we're going to be able to get Stroll here. We're on the second to last lap. We're going to be on the last lap now. And I'm just draining my RS. I'm pushing so much. Really want that 8th place.
Final lap of the race.
We've got barely any ERS left here. I just need some DRS and then we've got a chance. Stroll is so close now. Is there any DRS down here? No, there isn't. No, there is no DRS.
Gaining on you by 0.5 a lap.
I'm not bothered about Leclerc behind me. I'm not bothered. I want Stroll ahead. We've just struggled to consistently gain the amount. We've been so much quicker in Sector 3, but Sector 1 and 2, We haven't made enough inroads here, and we're just pushing so hard now just to try and get further away from Leclerc, closer to Stroll. That's what we need, but it's just not happening here. We need that DRS here. We're going to use a lot of what's left of our ERS to get the DRS as Max Verstappen wins for Red Bull. Valtteri Bottas P2, and now Lance Stroll in front.
We've only got
7
2
tenths,
laps of fuel
6
left.
tenths. Can we get him? Can we get closer? Here we go. We're going to go for it. We're going to go for it. If we can get the run through here. If we can get it. And well, here we are. We've got side by side with Lance Stroll, and we're past him, and we've won 8th place there. That's 3 points we've got. Look at that.
That's it for another spectacular Grand Prix here in Bahrain, and a real champion's drive to take the win. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
Well, they played the safety car to absolute perfection. There are so many factors to worry about once the race is neutralised. I mean, do you pit for fresh rubber? Do you have the space behind you? How much fuel can you save? If you answer all of those questions correctly, you'll have a good chance. And that's exactly what happened today.
Red Bull are our winners today after showcasing some incredible driving. There's been a huge push from them lately to stay competitive with the other teams, and they're certainly proving themselves.
Well then, what a race that was. Unfortunately, there weren't that many race replays towards the end. It didn't really make much of a difference, of course, because one of the race replays at the start with the action there and then less at the end. Sadly, that was because my PlayStation did decide to freeze and then shut itself down halfway through getting what I wanted out the race replay, which also meant that when I went back on, I somehow ended up at the press conference, which resulted in me not ending up with race replays for the second half of the race, and then not being able to get the race result fully then after that. But we've got the race result here, as I'm sure you can see with the driver standings on the left. That basically tells you what happened and explains it, because it's going to be in the order of the first race. So that's pretty fortunate that we can actually see what the final order was. Verstappen won, as we saw that throughout the race. He did really well, a little bit ahead of Bottas, just sailed along, stayed ahead of Bottas, kept it consistent, and he finished ahead of Valtteri Bottas. Sergio Perez was third, with Daniel Ricciardo fourth. Then we had Lewis Hamilton salvaged that disastrous qualifying results with penalties, of course, that dropped him down the order for 14th. He moved up into a tasty 5th. Then Pierre Gasly moved up from, I think it was 8th, up into 6th. Sainz dropped down to 7th, such a promising position on the grid for him to then drop down the order. We finished 8th after a fantastic overtake right at the dying moments there, taking 8th position from Lance Stroll, who finished 9th. He was the highest driver who went for the one-stopper, which actually proved less effective because of the safety car. Then Charles Leclerc took the last point in 10th. Vettel was 11th, followed by Alonso. Norris, of course, got a bit scruffed up by us. He had a bit of a disaster of a Grand Prix there, with those, especially that main incident with us when we ended up using him as a bit of a crash pad. And then we've got Esteban Ocon finished 14th. George Russell 15th, with Raikkonen 16th. Giovinazzi 17th. And Latifi 18th. Schwartzman had a bit of a disaster towards the end of the race. He dropped down. I think he spun out. He finished 19th. Mazepin lost the finishes in 20th, with Tsunoda 21st. And Schumacher 22nd, but they failed to finish the race. There's the race results. Unfortunately, we couldn't get to see the gaps between the drivers and how close it was, but at least we got to see the points in terms of the constructor standings. Red Bull are comfortably ahead of Mercedes off the start. McLaren in P3, AlphaTauri are P4. with Ferrari just 1 point behind in P5. So a really great start to the season for AlphaTauri. Then ourselves, P6. That's a really good position for us to be in. With 4 points off from me, Aston Martin P7, then Alpine yet to score along with Williams, Alfa Romeo and Haas. So there we have the results of the Bahrain Grand Prix. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button and the subscribe button, and I'll catch you next time for Imola Grand Prix qualifying.